guys, how are y'all doing today? How do y'all like my background today? See the monsters back here? Aren't they cute? I figured I would do a monster background since I'm reading where the wild things are for y'all today. This is our third reading that we've had in our classroom, so they're pretty familiar with it by now. Remember, this is the front of the book. This is the back. And do you remember what this part is called? The spine. All right. Our author of this book is Maurice Sendak, and the author writes the words, and Maurice is also the illustrator who drew the pictures. All right, so let's get started. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind. Do you remember what happens? And another. Look at what he's doing. You think that dog is very happy? Probably not. I wouldn't be. His mother called him Wild Thing. And Max said, "I'll eat you up." He yelled at his mom. So he was sent to bed without anything to eat. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And it grew. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines, and the wall became the world all around. How do you think Max felt about that? Wild things do live in the forest. Well, and an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. Do you guys remember what we said private meant? It meant all alone, being by yourself, only for one, those sort of things. It means you want time alone. So Max was in there all alone. He sailed in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. What would you name that wild thing right there? Max doesn't look very happy in there. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. How does Max look to you? He looks a little mad. He doesn't look scared at all, does he? He just looks a little angry. And Max said, "Be still." And he tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. So he tamed those wild beasts. Yes, he did. And they made him king of all wild things. And now Max cried, "Let the wild rumpus start." So they were getting ready to have a wild time, jumping and yelling and hopping up and down, hanging from the trees. And then having a little parade and marching around with Max up on top of one of the wild things. I think one of you guys said that looked like a bull, the one that he's riding on. "Now stop," Max said, "and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper." Wonder why he would do that. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be somewhere where someone loved him best of all. Y'all remember what lonely means? It means you're by yourself. You may not have anybody to talk to. You're alone. Then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat, so he gave up being king of where the wild things are. Do you remember what he was smelling that smelled good? Let's see. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "Nope." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. I'm sure they were going to miss him, but he was ready to go. And he sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. So his mom gave him supper after all. And how does he look in that picture? He looks kind of happy, doesn't he? There's a smile on his face. And the supper was still hot. That book's been around a long time, since Miss Dana was young. Your parents have probably heard it too. So, I wonder how Max felt now that he was back home. Do you think he will still act wild sometimes? He might. He's a little boy, so. I wonder what might have happened if Max didn't get lonely while he was with the wild things. Do you think he still would have went home? I think he might still have missed his mom and dad, so he probably would have been ready. I've been away from home before, and I was ready to go visit my parents. What do you think Max's mother will do the next time Max is wild? Think she might send him back to bed again with no supper? She might. Who knows? I think Max has a very good imagination, which means he can think up things that aren't real and have a really good imagination, but he also seems to get mad pretty easy. Do y'all remember how we calm ourselves down if we get angry or upset? Three deep breaths. That's right. That's very good. It can help us calm down. Even us grown-ups can use that and calm down. So, Max was sent to his room because he was being rude and rough, and he was yelling. And he yelled at his mom. So how would you feel if somebody shouts at you? Doesn't make you feel very good, does it? No. That's why we keep inside voices, and when you do not yell at each other, we use calm voices. Now, outside, sometimes we yell because we're excited, but we shouldn't yell at people because we're angry. Max frightens the wild things and gets them to do what he wants them to do. Do you think it's right to scare or frighten someone? No. We have our friends because we play with them nicely and we treat each other like we want to be treated, and that's very important. So I hope y'all enjoyed the story today. I hope y'all enjoyed my little monsters back there in the background, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll hopefully see you soon.